Jesse Jackson. Who is this guy, you ask? Well, there's a lot to talk about when we're talking about a guy. Now, we probably already talked about Obama. This guy, a black, tried to run for president. And so let's just see how well that went out later in this video. But right now, let's talk about Jesse Jackson. Let's start with the show. No, that's Crash Course. We have Dark Yawn. Jesse. No, not the Moonwalk song. Was that the Moonwalk song? So, hey guys, welcome to a new episode on this channel. Today, we will be talking about the Reverend Jesse Jackson. The rainbow politician. At least that's what I like to call him. So let's get started on today's episode. And right now, this is history. Great. Reverend Jesse Jackson had a weird start, and since I couldn't find any photos of young him, let's go straight into the notes. Reverend Jesse Jackson started off as a little kid on October 8th of 1941, during the time of World War II, in fact. So let's just see how well that went off later. In grade school, he excelled with A+, and he was very good at sports. No, that was a terrible rugby ball. Let me try again. He was great at sports. He exceeded in sports and school. And that was basically him overall. And now that that's over, let's get on to another version of his own things. His biological father was Noah Lewis Robinson. His biological mother, actually his real mother too, was Helen Burns. So, Reverend Jesse Jackson was born Jesse Burns. His father, his biological father, was not already married, and his mother was 16 at the time. So, yeah. And then, a year later, when his mother was 17 years old, she married a guy named Charles Jackson, adopting Jesse, and then giving him the last name Jackson. Yay! Now we know the Jesse Jackson that we know. Okay, so that is basically his early life. Because of this racial background and living in Jim Crow school and Jim Crow laws, he was bullied by everyone else. Not by everyone else, mainly whites, really. But nothing else really seemed to matter at all. So he technically just accepted the Jim Crow laws for a long time. Until 1959, where he started going to the University of Illinois. 9 syllables. This is what the modern day campus looks like. And after that, after his second semester during the University of Illinois, he transferred all the way to the North Carolina A&T school. And what does the A&T stand for? Agricultural and Technical School. Yeah. And the University of Illinois, he went there on a football scholarship. But here, he literally actually did well. And then he graduated good too. He got a bachelor's in sociology. And after that, and then in 1967, actually just before 1967, he met MLK. You might remember him as Martin Luther King Jr. And yes, it's the same Martin Luther King Jr. that we've talked about last time. So let's get on with his actual thing later in another episode. Martin Luther King Jr. was pretty much impressed by Jesse Jackson, so he let him have a more leading role in the SCLC, or also known as the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. In these little conferences, Jesse became a political figurehead, and he was so good, and that eventually he was appointed to become the manager and leader of Operation Breadbasket. Keep a slice of bread in your community, and that slice of bread is dollars. Ka-ching! It was basically a job placement agency for blacks. And then tragedy struck. MLK was assassinated. After that, just a few days after that, Jesse Jackson started being criticized by using the SCLC for his own advantages. And many people saw him as the successor to the leader of the SCLC. However, after the assassination of MLK, he resigned from the SCLC. This is when he started the organization People United to Serve Humanity, before known as Save Humanity, but then it was renamed to People United to Serve Humanity. And it is called PUSH. Yes, Push to Save People. Togetherness for Development. Yeah, basically that was basically it. And it's still here today, but in a different form, really. In 1984, he decided to run for president, and he did surprisingly well, coming third in a candidacy of a lot of people, and he got 3,282,431 votes, and that was, if you compare it to the amount of people there, 18.09% of the Electoral College votes. And then in 1988, I better use the pen. In 1988, he decided to run for again, and this time he did way better than last time, coming in second place with 6,788,991 of the Electoral College votes, winning 29.13% of the Electoral Colleges. Well, he did a surprisingly good job, I'll have to admit. However, he still lost, and a lot of people said that because this guy, Jesse Jackson, went into second place, he should be the vice president nominee. But the guy who really was, who became the presidential candidate for the Democrats, named Henry Dukakis. I didn't have enough time to get a photo of him. Sorry, you better Google him. Dukakis said that he will choose someone else, and he did. So after that, Jesse Jackson created the Rainbow Coalition, and it didn't really do anything until Christmas, December 25th of 1971. That was when he did the Rainbow. That was when the Rainbow Coalition started to do something. And then eventually the Rainbow Coalition and PUSH merged together in 1996 to turn into the Rainbow PUSH Coalition. And yeah, it's still here today. Mainly because of Jesse Jackson's own things, and all of his efforts paid off well. Today, these two coalitions still exist, and they still help for the civil rights movement from the 1950s to 1960s to modern days Black Lives Matter movement and other movements related to the civil rights. It was the bridge to those two movements, and it's still here today. And before we leave, fun fact, one of the 1988 Democratic candidates, well, at least one of the candidates who tried to come into the nominee Joe Biden is today's president! Yay! So, he must have known Jesse. I wonder why no one asked him.